So, hi.
Hi,
Thank you again for joining me today.
my name is June Heston. I'm actually running for Select Board in Richmond, the 2-year seat. I sat on the Select Board 10 years ago. I was born and raised here in Vermont, and I grew up in Graniteville. I ran for state senate in Chittenden County last year, and so I didn't win that seat. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to give back to my local community. I learned a lot. I you know things on the periphery, but then when you are engaged in a campaign, you really need to dive a little deeper into the issues that are affecting not only your town and your county, but your state and the country. And one of the things that came to light was we have systemic racism and bias, and we need to do something about that. So last summer, I joined the Richmond Racial Equity Committee because I knew that I had a lot to learn and I had work to do for myself and on myself. But I do think it's an important conversation for our community to have, and our county and our state and our country.
How do you plan to advocate for social justice and racial equality as a select board member?
When I joined the Richmond Racial Equity Committee is when I learned about the fair and impartial policing policy. And really what they were asking for is for this policy to go back to the way it was before the Trump administration changed things. And so why wouldn't we do that? The police department is just one example. I think we have systemic bias throughout every system, our education system, our healthcare system, in addition to our judicial system. So this is a huge undertaking. The reason why I believe we're focusing on police is because we saw it in front of us firsthand. Everybody saw that. And so that was a wake-up call to say, okay, why is this happening? You start at the local level. And I believe that what Richmond did with the FIP and what other towns in Vermont have done will trickle up to our state legislature, and that change will be made at that level, and then I think ultimately at the federal level. I understand people being angry at the police. At the same time, my father was a police officer. My husband was a police officer. His brothers are police officers. So I also have that perspective of law enforcement, the people that we call for so many different things. And I think we are in this situation that we're in because we're asking our police officers to do more than what they're trained to do. And so what this has done is given us now a wake-up call to say, how do we make this better? There are many people who join the police force because they like that social work aspect. So how do we change not just on who responds, but how each entity responds? Police force, social workers, medical professionals, emergency responders. How do we look at the whole picture? Coming with a perspective of we need to listen to what people have to say. What we don't need to listen to is hate speak. But when someone has a point, we're only going to know the best avenue for any solution if we listen to all perspectives. And so that's what I think I will bring to the select board.